As the new Hollywood movement began to take over, new ideas were being introduced, one of those being zombie movies. From the twisted mind of George A. Romero, it is, in my opinion, the greatest zombie movie ever made, Night of the Living Dead. Oh hell yeah, it's time to talk about the original zombie film, Night of the Living Dead. By the time this movie was released, it was about to be the mid-60s, and Hollywood was about to embark on what is called the New Hollywood movement. This meant that a lot of new directors were going to get chances that usually weren't afforded. And concepts that wouldn't have seen the light of day back in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s were beginning to see the green light. But one of the ones that doesn't really get talked about all as much, at least among non-horror fans, is George A. Romero. George A. Romero produced this movie wholly independently, on about a $100,000 budget, about $110,000. It made $30 million at the worldwide box office. And as far as the story goes, you probably already know this story. It's about a group of people from totally different backgrounds and who are not necessarily fans of each other, and they find themselves trapped in a house as they are surrounded by the dead, who are slowly beginning to rise. We have a lot of found footage movies today like Paranormal Activity or Chronicle, but this feels like a found footage movie. This feels incredibly guerrilla with a lot of handheld cam. But this rawness adds to the movie's likability. This feels like something that you would probably do if you encounter the zombie apocalypse. And when I say this movie was made independently, I mean really independently. In terms of the effects, well, they had to get a little creative. The flesh was made of ham and pig entrails. The blood was chocolate syrup, because black and white couldn't pick that up. And clothes were bought second-hand at the Goodwill. So no fancy production designers or makeup designers or even clothing designers. This is all made on the job, on the fly, and with almost no real budget. And despite its rawness, it still endures as one of the best zombie movies ever made. Critics have long theorized since this movie's release that the living dead are supposed to resent capitalists, going after the more, let's just say, minorities of society. Again, it's just a theory, but it must have been a lot more pervasive than we thought, as Romero would include similar themes in these movies' sequels, such as Dawn of the Dead having mall shoppers represented by the zombies, and Day of the Dead having the zombies be more smarter than the people that are actually alive. But again, I'm not a cinema studies major and I am not even close, but it's just really fascinating. Similar to Godzilla, what could have been just a simple B-movie turned out to be one of the most influential horror movies that still holds up tremendously well to this day.